So to make my honey nut granola, first I melt about 3/4 a cup of coconut oil in a pan. Turn my burner on medium so it'll start melting. Then I add about a 1/2 cup of honey. This is a recipe I don't really measure, I kind of just eyeball it the whole time. So add that in, measure if you want to. Melt that down to where your coconut oil is completely melted. And then you can turn your burner off. Next you're gonna add about 3 cups of oats and 2 cups of nuts, and then I like to add about a 3/4 cup of shredded coconut. So 3 cups of oats and 3 cups of filler. You know, you could choose all different things that you want in your granola. Personally, I like to add pecans, walnuts, almonds, and shredded coconut. You could also do coconut flakes. You could add in some different nuts that you've got available to you, or seeds, or anything like that. It's whatever you want in your granola. After you put in all of your additions, you're gonna add your seasoning. So you'll need about 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Once you've got all that in there, give it a really good stir until everything is really well coated with your coconut oil and your seasonings. That coconut oil is what's going to help it crisp up while it's baking. Then I like to bake mine in a 9x13 pan lined with parchment paper. Spread it out as evenly as you can. It is going to be pretty thick in a 9x13 pan. If you want it to lay it out more evenly and cook a little faster, you can do it on some cookie sheets as well. Then you'll bake it at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. Then pull it back out, give it a really good stir, and then bake it again for another 10 to 15 minutes. The timing is going to depend on how crispy you want your granola, how well you want those clumps to be together. When you bake it in the 9x13 pan, you'll get more of those big clumps, like if you were to buy packaged granola. If you bake it on a sheet pan, it'll just be really crispy pieces of granola, which is really nice for, say, making granola bars later on. So sometimes I do it that way depending on how big of a batch I'm making. If I make a double batch, I have a really big sheet pan that I'll throw it all on. But for this batch, I really just like using a 9x13 pan. It makes it really simple and easy. After your granola is finished baking, you'll just need to let it cool in the pan. As it cools, it's going to go into those clumps. And then later, once it's all cool, you can break it up. Then you can either store it in a glass jar or a Ziploc bag. You can even freeze it for later if there's too much of it for now. We love to use this granola in yogurt or for granola bars. You looking at it? Wow. Are we making granola? Yeah.
Can you eat it?
And then we'll eat it?
Is it out of the pan?
Eat it out of the pan?
Yeah.
It might be too hot. I'll have to let it cool down. Yeah.
I cooled down. It cooled down.
It's still in the oven. It's still hot.